Before everything fell apart, we were what you'd call a solid couple. 6 years together, married for almost 2. We had our struggles, who doesn't, but we loved each other. Or at least, I thought we did. I'm in the Army. I signed up young, partly out of a sense of duty, partly because I didn't see much of a future in my small hometown. My wife, let's call her M, and I met just before I enlisted. She was smart, beautiful, and had that kind of laugh that made you believe everything would be all right. When we got married, we thought we had time. But then came the orders. My first deployment to Iraq. The months leading up to deployment were tense. Training got harder, longer. My mind was constantly pulled in 100 directions. M wasn't happy about it. Who would be? She cried during our talks, pleaded with me to find some way to stay. She brought up all the usual stuff. Starting a family, moving back home, settling down. And I wanted that too. But duty was calling, and there was no way out. We sat down and made a plan. We didn't have kids yet, but we wanted them. Maybe 2, maybe 3. We agreed to use the deployment time smartly. She'd move in with her best friend back in our home state, someone we both trusted, and pay a minimal rent, just $300 a month. The idea was simple. She'd save money, pay off our debts, and when I came back, we'd be ready to start a family without financial pressure. It sounded good, smart even. I left feeling like we were aligned. We hugged at the airport for a long time. She sobbed, clung to me like I was already fading away. Told me she'd miss me every day. Told me she loved me. Promised me we'd start trying for a baby the day I came back. It's funny how a moment can feel so real, so honest, and yet be built on a complete lie. Signs and silence. About 2 months into the deployment, I noticed something was off. At first it was subtle. Shorter texts. Less interest in our calls. The time zone difference was rough, sure, but she used to fight to stay awake just to hear my voice. Now, she missed scheduled calls without explanation. When we did talk, she seemed distracted, cold even. I chalked it up to stress, maybe depression. Maybe she was just overwhelmed being back home, away from me, stuck in limbo. But then came the conversation I'll never forget. She said, "I think I need some space." "Space?" I asked. "You're asking me for space. I'm 10,000 miles away in a war zone. How much more space do you need?" She didn't answer that directly, just said she needed to find herself. It felt rehearsed, like something pulled from a breakup script off a TV show. And my gut, which I'd always trusted in the field, told me something wasn't right. That's when I remembered a guy from back home. Let's call him Jay. He was always a little too friendly with her. The type who liked to flirt with other men's wives but stayed just on the legal side of inappropriate. I never confronted her about it. I wasn't the jealous type. I trusted her. Too much, as it turns out. But now, something wasn't sitting right. So I checked her social media, and there he was. Again. And again. Every group photo she posted, he was there. Different people around them, different locations, but always him. Always standing too close. I tried to reason with myself. Maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe I was being paranoid. But the knot in my stomach kept growing. So I did something I never thought I'd do. Opening Pandora's phone. I had heard about a service from T-Mobile called Digits. It allows you to sync messages from one number to another. I had admin access on our phone plan, so I set it up, telling myself it was just to ease my suspicions. The very first message I saw changed everything. "Hey babe, I'll see you after work. Want me to save you any leftovers?" From her to him. My hands went numb. My body went cold. I was in a tent in Iraq, surrounded by dust, exhaustion, and the low buzz of generators. And I felt like my entire world had just collapsed. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't eat for days. I watched every message come through in real time. I saw the emojis, the I love yous, the talk of moving in together, of trying for a baby. I watched her spend my money, our money, on concert tickets, matching tattoos, fancy dinners. She bought him clothes. She paid our debts with my deployment checks while playing house with him. The worst part? She still lied to my face. When I asked her, she said, "No, I'm not seeing anyone. I just need time to think. I still love you. I'm just trying to take care of myself." For 2 months, I said nothing. I kept reading the messages, hoping maybe I was misunderstanding, that maybe it would stop, that she'd realize the mistake and come clean. She never did, until I confronted her, calmly, directly. And then came the full truth, delivered like a slap to the face. "Yes, I've been seeing him, and honestly, he's better than you. He listens, he makes me feel special. He does what I want. The sex is better too." I wish I could say I yelled, that I exploded, but I didn't. I just sat there, phone in hand, my entire body hollow. The breaking point. That's when the last part of me broke. I realized she wasn't just cheating. She was rewriting our whole relationship in her mind, turning me into the villain, using my money to fund her new life. And worst of all, telling him they were going to have a baby, while I was halfway across the world, dodging IEDs and hoping to come home to a life worth coming back to. I knew I couldn't stay in this quiet agony. I had to act. Not out of spite. Something inside me shifted after that final conversation. The pain didn't go away, it just became quieter, heavier, like armor. I realized that mourning my marriage was no longer the priority. What I needed was closure, not the kind you get from words or apologies, the kind you get from standing up, wiping the dust off, and saying, "You don't get to win." So I started planning. She had access to our joint account, my money from the deployment, which I knew she was using freely. She had bought him clothes, tickets, even a PlayStation. She got matching "I love you" tattoos with him. She paid off our joint credit cards and took him to nice restaurants, all while telling our families that she was working hard to stay afloat in my absence. I went online and froze the bank account for a full month. I changed every password, online banking, streaming, airline points, even the shared Amazon account, to things she'd never guess. Military slang, code words, deployment-based names. She never stood a chance. Then I blocked her, on everything. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, my number, email. It was like I erased her from my world. She had no idea what happened, just that one day, the free ride stopped, dead in its tracks. The fall begins. I didn't hear from her for a while after that, but I did hear from mutual friends. And what they told me? Music to my ears. She lost her car to repossession a few months later, couldn't keep up with payments once the money stopped flowing. She got kicked out of her best friend's place after missing rent twice. Turns out playing house with a new man while trashing your husband's name doesn't earn you much sympathy. She started selling her designer shoes, handbags, even jewelry, all the stuff she used to show off. One friend said she pawned her wedding ring, not knowing I had already reported it missing and voided the resale value. Then she ended up back at her old restaurant job, the same place she used to say she was too good for, and guess who got hired there too? Him. Now it was my turn. With my time overseas winding down, I started making quiet moves. I took screenshots of her messages with him, the baby talk, the sex talk, the messages sent while I was literally on combat patrols. I matched the timestamps to the conversations she was having with me at the exact same moments, full of lies and manipulation. Then I sent those screenshots, just a few, carefully selected, to a handful of our mutual friends, people we'd grown up with, trusted, people she still had in her social circle. Her image? Shattered. Some of those friends shared the messages further. It spread quietly, like wildfire under the surface. She had painted me as emotionally distant, uncaring, even, quote, abusive, in some vague posts online. Those screenshots destroyed that narrative. Then, a small, petty part of me decided to go a step further. I had friends call the restaurant and file complaints about her and her new boyfriend. Not made-up stories, just mentioning loudly to management that they'd never eat at a place where homewreckers worked. One friend even dined and dashed, leaving the guy to take the blame. Within a month, both of them were fired. The call. Around that time, she tried to reach me again. She had no way to do it directly, so she called my command, claimed that I had abandoned her, that she had no income, that I left her stranded and emotionally damaged, But here's the thing. My CO knew everything. We'd had a long talk about it one night, over bad coffee, and a shared hatred for infidelity. He had been through something similar during his first deployment. So when she called and tried to throw me under the bus, he simply said, "Ma'am, he's doing his job. Maybe you should do yours." Silence. Then, about a month before I was set to return home, she called me from a random number. I answered without thinking. Her voice was shaky. "I'm pregnant," she said, through tears. "It's his." I said nothing. "We had a huge fight. I'm leaving him. I don't know where to go. Can I come home?" I didn't laugh. I didn't yell. I just took a deep breath and said, "That's not my problem anymore." And I hung up. Post-war coming home was strange. You expect flags, hugs, a sense of peace. I got silence, and I liked it that way. I moved into a small apartment, reconnected with my family, started therapy. I needed to process everything. The betrayal, the loneliness, the rage. I wasn't looking for revenge anymore. I was looking for peace. But life had one more chapter left to write. She comes crashing down. In January, nearly a year after she left, she called again, this time from a mutual friend's phone. Her. He hit me. I didn't know who else to call. Me. Maybe you don't cheat on your husband while he's deployed for some guy who talks a big game. Her. You're happy about this, aren't you? Me. No, I'm just glad I know I'm not the bad guy in this story. She tried again a few weeks later. Her. He's cheating on me. With 2 girls. I regret everything. I ruined it all. Me. Yeah, you did. Reflection. I won't lie and say I'm over it. What she did shattered my trust, my sense of stability. It gave me nightmares. I lost weight, sleep, and time I'll never get back. But I got something else. Clarity. I know who I am. I know what I gave. And I know that the collapse of our marriage wasn't because I wasn't enough. It was because she never really was. And just last week, she messaged me again, asking for help with rent. I left it on red after everything. I thought the worst was behind me. The betrayal, the revenge, the fallout. But what no one tells you, what no one prepares you for, is the silence that comes after a storm, the stillness, the now what. You spend so long surviving, clawing your way out of the hole someone else threw you into, that when you finally reach the surface, it's just you. No cheering, no reward, just a quiet road stretching ahead and the weight of everything you carried with you. I got back from deployment a different man. I didn't see it right away, but others did. My mom said my eyes looked harder, colder. My brother said I didn't laugh the same. My old friends noticed I stopped talking about the future. I hadn't realized it, but I'd stopped imagining one. Trust had become a foreign language. Even casual conversations with strangers felt like interrogations. I couldn't help but scan their tone, their words, their eyes, looking for the next lie before it found me. I wasn't angry anymore, just tired. Rebuilding trust, brick by brick. I didn't date for a long time. I couldn't. Not because I didn't want to, but because every part of me flinched at the thought of being vulnerable again. When someone you love looks you in the eye and lies, not once, but over and over, it rewires your brain. But life has a strange way of slipping light through the cracks. One day, I was grabbing coffee at a quiet cafe near base, and the barista, a woman I'd seen a few times, smiled at me. Not a flirty smile, a real one, the kind that doesn't want anything back. Her name was Riley. We started talking. At first, it was just casual. Small jokes, comments about the weather, the usual. But over time, I found myself looking forward to it. I started taking longer walks just to pass by that cafe. She never pried, never pushed. She was just there. After a few weeks, she asked me to sit down, said she wanted to talk during her break. I was hesitant, but I sat. She asked me how my day was going. I didn't know how to answer. No one had asked me that, not really, in a long time. I told her the truth. Not the full story, but enough. She didn't blink. She just listened. And that's when I realized, maybe not everyone is waiting to hurt you. It took months, but we slowly built something. Something small, honest. I told her everything. Eventually. The marriage. The betrayal. The revenge. The guilt. She didn't judge me. She didn't say, "You should have walked away sooner." She just said, "It's okay to be angry. It's okay to have defended yourself. But you don't have to keep carrying it." I didn't realize how badly I needed to hear that. A glimpse of karma. About a year later, I found out my ex was living in a shared apartment with 2 roommates. The guy she had a baby with, the one she destroyed our marriage for, had left. Not just left the relationship, but left the state. She was on government assistance, working odd jobs and posting vague Facebook statuses about missing real love and people changing. The child was his, not mine. I'd gotten the divorce finalized before the birth, so I was legally free. She tried reaching out again, first through text, then through email, then through friends. I never replied. Because here's the truth no one likes to admit. Closure isn't something they give you. It's something you give yourself. No apology, no explanation, no confession would have made what she did okay. And no act of revenge, no matter how satisfying, could undo the pain. But walking away, choosing not to respond, that was the final chapter. That was real closure. Our lessons etched in fire? What did I learn from all of this? First, listen to your gut. That voice inside you isn't paranoia. It's experience disguised as instinct. I ignored mine for too long. I trusted because I wanted to trust, not because it was earned. Second, love is not blind. It's voluntary. You can choose to love someone deeply, completely, and still walk away when they prove they don't value it. Love doesn't mean losing yourself. Third, revenge is tempting, and sometimes it feels damn good. But it's not healing. What I did may have brought balance to the scales, but it didn't fix what she broke inside me. That part took time. Therapy, real connection, and a hell of a lot of honesty. Fourth, and maybe most important, you are not what someone else does to you. She cheated, lied, stole. But I survived. I came home. I rebuilt. And every day I woke up and didn't text her back. Every time I walked away from the memory, I got stronger. Final thought. Sometimes I wonder what I'd say if I ever saw her again. If we ever crossed paths at the store or on the street. Would I feel anything? Would I still be angry? Maybe, but I think I'd mostly feel nothing. Not hatred, not love, just indifference. And in many ways, that's the best revenge there is, because the opposite of love isn't hate. It's no longer caring at all, and I don't.